What if you could double your editing prices while changing nothing about how your work looks? That's exactly what a better editing portfolio can do for you. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing the exact portfolio best practices in order for editors to charge as much as possible. If we haven't met already, my name's Sayeef. I've edited for some of the largest YouTubers in the world, and I've helped over 300 editors get more clients, scale, and be able to hit 5 to 10K months. In this video specifically, we're going to cover how to position yourself so that you can charge these higher prices, how to structure your portfolio to charge over $2,000 a video. And I'm going to give you real examples of both my portfolio and other editors who have been able to charge 1, 2, 3, some even up to 10,000 a video. I'm going to be breaking down their real portfolios here. But before we dive into the actual portfolio, we need to fix one thing before that. And it's the portfolio before your portfolio. I want you to imagine you have two separate stores. Both of them sell the exact same product. Let's say they both sell apples. However, one of these stores looks super nice and shiny. Imagine it looks more like a house, but imagine it's a nice and shiny store. And the other one, like, it's absolutely breaking down. Imagine like both the windows are smashed open and the door is hanging off its hinges and you got some random homeless guy sitting outside. Which store would you rather go into? And more importantly, if you had to buy an apple from both of them, which one would you perceive to taste better? Of course, the one that was from a cleaner, nicer environment. Nothing about the product has changed, but what has changed is the frame in which the person enters that store. So we want to do the exact same thing for our editing work. Because if you have an amazingly built social page, and that is what leads people to your portfolio, by you fixing your social page, you'll actually find that people perceive the work on your portfolio as a lot better. So what does fixing our social profiles actually look like? Ask yourself, where are you driving the most traffic to your portfolio? Is it X? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? Is it YouTube jobs? Wherever you're driving people from, you want to ask yourself, does it follow the grunt test? To understand the grunt test, I want you to imagine we are no longer marketing to YouTubers, to educational creators, to business owners, none of those. But we're marketing to a caveman. This guy barely understands English, and if you try doing anything complicated, you're going to lose him. So if we wanted to market to a caveman, what are the very simple things that we would need to explain to him for even an idiot to be able to buy? We need to explain what we offer. We need to explain how it benefits him. And we need to explain what he should do next. If we can answer these 3 questions in less than 5 seconds of landing on our pages, congratulations, a caveman can buy from you, which means a YouTuber can probably buy from you as well. So I'm going to bring up some real profiles of myself and people that I've actually coached within my Editing Layer program, so you can see this grunt test being used in real life. So for my profile, what is the actual offer? What do I do? I make cool edits, and it says the editor. So it's clear that I offer editing services. In terms of how does it benefit you? Well, through the social proof, by me showing the view count, it's clear that I can get you more views. And what should I do next if I want to hire you? Creators need an editor, click on this link. So I'm taking them naturally to the next stage in the funnel. I'll bring up another editor that I've coached, and you're going to see it's a very similar structure. What does he offer? It says he's an editor. He's an editor. How does it benefit them? He shows social proof. So, hey, I've worked with all these people. Therefore, it's clear that I can make it look good for you too. And what should I do next? Send me a DM. If you go on to Omar's, you see a similar thing. You see what he offers. Why should I hire you? And he likes working with UK creators at the moment. So he has London in there as well. So how it benefits them. If there's a London creator or a UK creator that wants someone in person, that serves him. That's why he's added his location. And finally, what to do next? He's got a clear link that people can click. Ali, another guy that we literally just got to 10K a month. By the way, everyone I'm showing you here has been in the coaching program and they've hit 10K a month just solely through editing, which is why I wanted to bring their portfolios up because, they used it to hit 10K a month. So with Ali here, same thing. I bring videos to life. It says he's an editor and you can see he's showing proof and there's a next step. And you see this with every single person. Yeah, you can see with Artem as well. Artem's changed more into coaching now. His portfolio is still a great example. his Twitter profile, I wouldn't model as much, but that's just because he's naturally gone to the next stage, which is coaching rather than actually looking for editing clients. But he still hit 10K a month with editing, so it makes sense. But essentially, we want to make sure our profiles have been optimized to pass the grunt test. And part of that is making sure you have a clear call to action to your portfolio. So once you've created your social profile and you've set it up to pass the grunt test, let's actually talk about fixing the portfolio inside. So I've got those 5 examples, and we're going to go through the general proven structure that you need to follow, not just here's a template, go copy that. Because while yes, I could give you a template, it's not actually going to serve you in terms of how you should implement it, because you don't want to look like every other editor. So here's my one. Remember we talked about the grunt test before? We're going to implement the exact same thing to our portfolio. In a portfolio, there are 3 sections. You have the above the fold section, we have the main body, and we have the CTA section. I want you to imagine a newspaper, not like a digitalized version, but you know when you'd go to the gas station, there'd literally be like newspapers piled up and you can go grab one. The above the fold section is when the newspaper is folded, because obviously they don't have the whole thing shown in one go. When the newspaper is folded, the stuff that you can see above the fold before you unfold it, that's the above the fold section. And in digital marketing, which we're partaking in when we're creating our portfolio, the above the fold section is the section that you can see when you just first land on someone's page. So if I refresh my portfolio here, you can see whatever the hell we've landed on here, this is considered the above the fold section. It's before we scroll down at all. And the above the fold section is going to be 80 to 90% of the results you get. If you can't get someone to stay on based on the portfolio that they see above the section, above the fold, there's no chance they're going to see anything else. So we want to hyper optimize this above the fold section. So let's talk about how to do that. Within the above the fold section, we're going to optimize for 3 things. You can guess what they are. It's what we offer, it's how it benefits them, and what should they do next in order to work with you. This should all be communicated within just the above the fold section. In mine, you got stand out in your niche, stop settling with average videos, explode your growth with editing that works. It's clear that I'm offering editing. How it benefits them, I've got standing out in your niche, but also with a portfolio, it's important you show it visually. So you want to have your best video at the top. So you can see here, I've picked a video that specifically
from a girl with piranha teeth to what you're supposed to do if you lose a tooth.
Has a strong visual hook. Within the first 5 seconds, I've already shown off a ton of editing ability. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the first video you show, in general, this is going to decide whether someone wants to continue going down your portfolio or they bounce right off. And in order for you to attract the right type of clients, so people who are paying 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a video, and in the niche you want to think about that when you're deciding that first video. So in order to do that, just look at the type of clients that you want to get, look at your current work, and pick the video that's closest to the clients that you want to get in the future. Because the type of work you show is the type of work that you're going to get more of. So there's 2 things that we've covered so far. You've got what you offer, so essentially like a heading. You've got the benefits, which is essentially like a video. And you've got what should you do next, which in this case, you can see the button saying work with Malice. So it's essentially a CTA button. So just in the above the fold section, we're always going to have these 3 elements. So I'm going to show you some other portfolios from people that I've coached that have hit over 10K a month. That way you can see that even if the design looks different, the slight structure looks different, they always follow these 3 rules. With Carter's, you can see what he does, why you should hire him, his work looks sick, and what to do next. Click this button. With Omar, another editor we've coached, we've got him to 10K a month recently. What he does, you can see, he says, let's make cinema. The thing is, I think we could have tightened that a little bit. Like we could have made it more clearly about editing, but you can see he does it for creators. So in terms of what he offers, you can see for creators, he makes cinematic videos. So how it benefits them? Well, I've worked with people like you to make cinema, therefore you should do it with me. And what's next? It says, let's work together. Now, truthfully, I think Omar might be watching this, so I'll give you some feedback, man. I would have a clearer heading that shows what you offer. Just make it clear about editing. Clear is oftentimes better than clever when it comes to marketing. And also just tighten this gap a little bit so that we have a consistent spacing between here and here. What that will also do is expose some more of these people so that you get a reason for people to scroll down. Like by closing this gap, you'll realize the above the fold section will be about here. And when people see something that they can scroll down to, it makes them want to just scroll down a little more. You'll see I do it on my portfolio as well, where the above the fold section cuts off right at some more interesting information, which makes them want to scroll down that next little bit. The above the fold section is really good here. A few things I could tweak, but once again, it's worked for him. So likely it is, you can make some switches depending on that. With Ali's here, we recently got him to 10K a month with one client. You can see what he does. So edit, why, his work, what to do next. Here it is. With Eros's, another editor that I've coached. So you can see what he does, turning raw footage into Rival, so editing essentially. How it benefits them, look how many views I've gotten, and look how cool my work is, and I've done it for similar people. What should I do next? It's a clear button saying work with me. Artem, another editor that I've coached. You can see in the first section, telling stories through visuals. So he creates visuals, he's an editor, like what he offers. How it benefits them, you can see 100% of clients are happy, 0 deadlines missed. So he's saying you're going to be happy with your editor, and I'm not going to miss a deadline, which is also a good thing. And he's showing his work. So he's got 3 ways he's showing the benefits of working with him. And what should people do next? There's a clear hire me button, so people can know what the next steps are. So you'll realize no matter whether you're using a DM process to close clients, it doesn't matter if you're using a call process, it doesn't matter if you're in whatever niche, whatever level of experience, that is the structure that we've seen crush for above the fold. Before we go into the next section of the portfolio, so the main body, I want you to notice this pattern, that when you're looking at the portfolio, there's like a slight little bit that's teasing the next section. What you don't want is for you to land on the page and it seems like that's the whole page done. You can see here it kind of teases what I want to scroll down to. Here it teases something else to scroll down to. Teases it, yes, but I would have loved it if it teased it about here. With Ali's, it teases it here. I would like either cut off halfway into this line or cut like this. So maybe making this gap smaller, these gaps smaller, so that it would cut off here. That would make people want to see and scroll down to this next video. With Eros's, I think it's solid. And with Artem's, it's cool too because you see previous work is cut off. So that's the above the fold section done. Now let's talk about the main body. With the main body, this is going to be the majority of your portfolio. It's the space for your videos and it's the space for social proof. Social proof is you just showing other people that you've worked with them, because when people see that people similar to them have worked with you, then I'm going to want to work with you as well. For example, let's say I want to close a IFL creator. If I show him that I've worked with other IFL creators, just primarily this person is going to feel more safe to also work with me. And this comes back to human psychology. Let's say you're in the forest here, your tribe is this way, like this is where all the different people are. And you see that for some reason, everyone is just suddenly running this way. If you see everyone running, you might not even know what's happening in your back at camp, but you have the feeling that you should probably run as well because there's probably something dangerous there. If you notice that there's 2 ways in order to reach this fruit tree. So imagine this is a tree with loads of fruits and you know this is where your camp is, and there's been stories that over the last 100 years, all your ancestors always took this path and they never took this path. Social proof says it's probably safer for you to also take this path. So this all comes back to survival and ways that we would survive hundreds, thousands of years ago. But the same instincts are still built into us today and into your clients' minds today. So by showing people like, hey, other creators have taken this path, especially when it's other creators like you have taken this path, it makes it clearer that they should take the action too. So what this would look like is testimonials. It would look like you could have interviews, you could also have results, even more subconscious ways of embedding directly from the client's channel rather than a private video. These are subtle ways to show social proof, so it's things you can do. So we'll talk about the social proof in a bit more detail later, but let's just dive into how you're structuring the videos and how to present the social proof so it doesn't end up backfiring for you. With the videos on your main body of the portfolio, you want to aim for 4 to 8 of your best videos. The reason we go for 4 to 8, 4 is a good number where you can show that you're consistent with your work. One of the concerns that a lot of creators have is this editor a one-hit wonder? Is it something where they've had one good video and now they're never going to be able to repeat it, especially not on mine? So having 4 good videos at least shows that you're consistent. The reason we don't want to have more than 8 videos is it can get overwhelming and it can mean that people just don't really know where to go, they don't know what to watch, and they just get distracted and click off. So around 4 to 8 I found is best. Now it's important that we have these in the same format. When I say format, I mean either long form or short form. What we don't want to do is mix formats, because what you'll realize is whenever someone is a long form creator and they're looking through a long form portfolio, they feel like, yes, this is for me. But let's say there's a short form creator and they see a ton of short form videos, they're going to say, okay, this is for me. But let's say you have someone's portfolio who's as an absolute mix. Maybe he's got a few long form, a few short form. What's going to happen is a long form creator will look at this and say, okay, I'm looking at the first few videos. It resonates. Cool. Oh, now he's editing short form. I kind of want someone who's going to be the best at long form because I'm willing to pay a lot. For low paying clients, they'll be like, fuck yeah, I love a generalist because they don't want to hire a separate short form editor. But long form creators who want to pay a lot for long form editors want a specialist, not a generalist. So you kind of lose the long form creators around here. Now, let's say there's a high paying short form creator. For example, I know Omar right now is charging over $200 per short. There was another guy, it was more of a referral. Like we referred him a short client. He's a shorts only editor. He's making around $8K a month, literally just from 2 short form clients. And the shorts are paid between $400 to $800 per short. Each short takes him 1 to 2 days. So we did this process for him. But let's say there's a short creator who's looking for a good editor. They're going to land this portfolio of mixed work and think, oh, he lands on it and it just doesn't resonate at all. So he'll bounce off as soon as he lands on it. So by mixing formats, you end up losing both long form and short form. But the people you do attract is those broadcast creators who want to get a generalist. So we always want to have 4 to 8 videos specifically in one type of format. Now, when it comes to the videos that you pick, because if you're watching this, likelihood is you're already an experienced editor, you probably have more than 8 good videos that you can show. So how do you pick the correct ones? There's a few things that I'm focusing on. First of all is the hook. More specifically, the visual hook. When people are looking through a portfolio, they are never looking through entire videos. All they're doing, in fact, we'll go into a portfolio now. They'll go into a portfolio, they'll click through, maybe watch a couple seconds.
From a girl with piranha teeth. I never know.
Skip through to the middle, make sure it's not absolutely crap.
Over here, we got some.
Okay, cool. If they like the first one, they might scroll a second.
Hey, what's up? It's going to be very my feet little.
Cool.
Today, Nick 830 is hosting.
Cool. And then that's basically going to decide, okay, yeah, I want to hire this guy or I don't. Like then they don't check the full video. And what you'll realize is they might check maybe 5 to 8 seconds of your full portfolio videos. Not 5 to 8 seconds per video, 5 to 8 seconds overall. And which part of the videos do you think are most likely for people to watch? The hook. So the first sort of like 1 to 4 seconds of videos, we want to make sure are bangers in terms of editing. So you realize with all my videos in my portfolio, they're visual bangers. Same thing with Carter's, you'll see visual banger,
Makes you look worse.
visual banger,
Headline after
visual banger,
It's early July.
visual banger. Now what you'll realize with this video is it actually starts at 6 minutes 50. What you can do is get videos to start in the middle if you feel as though the right at the beginning wasn't the best. By the way, this portfolio of Carter's is getting him videos that are paying 9 to 10K per documentary video. Most editors would be able to charge $400 to $500 for a video like this. Carter's charging 9 to 10K. For a single client, for a single video. It bloody works. Once we've got videos all with good hooks, the next thing I'm thinking about when it comes to picking the right type of videos is I want to think in terms of niche. When I say niche, specifically genre. At first, you're going to have all your best videos in different niches. One might be in sports, one might be in documentary, one in IRL, one in gaming, and that's fine. But over time, you want to ask yourself, what type of videos do I want to edit more of? So let's say right now, you're a long form editor, you've got these 4 videos. This one's in gaming, this one's in gaming, this one's in IRL, this one's in IRL. And you know that right now you want to edit more IRL videos. That's the niche you want to get into. Whenever you edit an IRL video or a video that's closer to IRL than to gaming, you're going to look at that video that you've just completed, look in your portfolio and swap out the one that's least like the videos you want to edit more of. So you might say, okay, between these 2 gamings, this one's probably a little bit worse. So I'm just going to remove this one, put the IRL one in. And now over time, you'll realize your portfolio becomes more and more like the type of work you want to edit, which means you can charge a higher premium in that specific niche and you'll have higher reply rates with the outreach you do in that specific niche. You will also be able to charge more in other niches just by the nature of videos getting better. But by doing this, you're able to charge as much as possible. So in this case, let's say you get another IRL creator because you've got so much IRL work. You'd be able to eventually switch that out and put in the IRL video. What would more likely happen in a case like this, if you were actually a gaming editor trying to get into IRL, you wouldn't have the gaming video first, you'd have it second last. You'd have it like that. You always want to have the best video and the one that's closest like the clients you want first, and the second best and the second closest last. That's how I always like to order portfolios. So that's the videos that I'm thinking through and I'm adding it into the main body. Next, let's talk about social proof. So this is still within the main body. Social proof is things like this. So let's say you've got on your portfolio a testimonial like this. Let's say you've got a image showing someone's subscriber account and their name, any numbers like the number of views. These are all examples of social proof. Now, when it comes to social proof, there's a few key things we need to remember. So let's talk about social proof. Number one is social proof only matters if the person actually understands and believes the social proof. Now, what do I mean by understand? Let's say you just put a profile picture of a creator and you put their name. If I told you right now, this person, I've worked with them and their name is Joshua, does that make you impressed? No, because Joshua doesn't mean anything without a number next to it. And unless you're editing for MrBeast, basically no one knows channel that you've actually edited for. In fact, I've edited for The Sidemen, a 20 million subscriber channel. And if I don't put the subscriber count, or I just tell someone, oh, I edit for The Sidemen, most people, you'd be surprised, don't actually know it. So while yes, you know your client and you know how big they are, you know how famous they are because you've edited for them, other people don't because they don't know them like that. So whenever we're putting a profile picture or a name or a client's name, we always want to put the sub count. Because what this does is it gives people a reason to care about this name and to care about this profile picture. Because look at the difference between Joshua with 100 million subscribers. So look how good this looks compared to Joshua. Joshua could still have 100 million subscribers on the back end, but we don't know unless we say it. Another huge issue that editors cause or create in their portfolios is putting links on these profile pictures. This is the worst thing you can do. Imagine you're trying to sell shoes. You're at a shoe store and you own it and you have customers coming in looking for shoes. And part of your sales process, in the middle of it, you just ask them, by the way, there's a KFC over there. Are you feeling a little hungry? There might be 40, 50, 60% of people that either say, yes, I'm hungry and go to KFC, or say yes and go check out some other food place. But most of them are going to end up leaving your shoe store because you've asked them to. In the same way, if you just put a random link going out of your portfolio, people are going to click them. They're going to go down some YouTube rabbit hole and forget that they were even on your portfolio. So you never want to have links going out. Any social proof you have, just put it on your actual portfolio through text. For example, like if I just bring up Eros's here, you can see he has all his subscriber accounts here. He has the verified little icon because that's another form of social proof. None of these link out. Let's just go on my portfolio. These are videos where I've embedded them, not linked out to the page. Whenever you're adding videos or social proof in terms of people, you want to have actual numbers so people can understand the context, like they understand why it's impressive, and it needs to be believable. Let's say you're a small editor, which you're probably not if you're watching this, but let's say you've only worked with a few people with like a couple 100,000 subscribers, so they're basically no names. You just putting a testimonial where you type out the writing isn't believable. So what you want to do, if you're showing a testimonial or a message that the person said hyping up your work, you can do these, but you want to use the actual screenshots. For example, I gave this advice to Ali recently. Right here, where he shows the person's subscriber count, Ali's at that stage where he's a good editor, he's already making over 10K a month, but he's not known enough where people just believe what he says. So I told him, like, dude, why do you have a profile picture and a number written out? Why don't you just screenshot the actual YouTube part and then paste that? So now people will believe the 14 million. Similar thing with this. Before he was writing these testimonials out, I told him, dude, just put the screenshot, even a messy screenshot, because that is more believable. We do the same thing whenever we have the editing layer. By the way, the editing layer is our coaching program. This isn't me trying to even like pitch it to you. It's a great program, but I want to show you like how we actually use this same method of better social proof and how it translates to you. This is our results page. What you'll realize is on the results page, we have two main types of proof. We have full interviews and we have screenshots. You can go on this page yourself, vfxmalice.com/results. And this, truthfully, is just the raw stuff that we capture from the people that go through the layer. So the full interviews, you'll realize they're unedited, and the screenshots, they're the raw screenshots. So we literally just take whatever is shown in the community. I have my assistant update the page. Because this isn't some heavily curated, or I haven't like edited it to sound good and taken out the bad parts, you will now believe it a lot more. In fact, Alex Hormozier, an entrepreneur with over 250 million in annual revenue in his company, he mentions the same thing. He calls it ugly screenshots. What they found is when you have like a super nice testimonial where you've got like some HD picture and you have like this nice text with like cool flowers, overlays and whatever. People actually don't believe that because it's too clean. What they do like is in a Facebook post, someone saying like, yo, this guy fucking changed my life. And it's like some low quality screenshot. That's what they believe. Because this, it's the rawest form of proof. So whenever you're showing proof, you don't want to make it look fabricated. So the best way you can do it is capture it in its rawest state. If someone gave you a testimonial, don't cut out the pauses. If someone wrote a good message about you, don't type it out yourself. Just use the raw screenshot because that's how social proof in the main body of your portfolio is going to look most believable. So that's the above the fold section done. That is the main body done. The last section is that sexy call to action. A call to action is where you literally tell someone what to do next. What you'll realize is people, they're very bad at making their own decisions. And if you let them do that, they'll either make no decision or they take the decision that you don't want. So by giving someone a clear like, yo, go do this, you heavily increase how many people take that desired action. So what is the desired action on your portfolio? Super simple. Go send me a message or go book in a call, depending on which closing process you're using at the moment. Don't do both, choose one, but I highly recommend most people do messages once you've scaled into an agency. So let's say you're at that 10, 15K a month, you're now scaling to 30, 40, 50K a month. You can keep the DM process running, but you can run a call funnel. But for most of the people here, you're going to be running a message process. So your call to action should be, go send me a message on this platform. What's important for your call to action is you want one clear call to action. I see it all the time where editors will have their call to action like, hire me. And it'll basically be like 5 different social platforms, half of them that they're not even active on, one of them that they made when they were 16, and it's a YouTube channel with no posts on it. Like, why are you pointing people towards all these directions when really they just need one direction? There was a time, in fact, I'm in Morocco right now, and it's a cafe / fancy restaurant, like a dessert place in Morocco. They had a menu, which is essentially like a booklet. And let's say this is the booklet that you're looking at. At each page, there was one item with a little description of what it was and the price. And the next page had the same thing. Description and the price. I felt like a little kid flipping through these pages, and it was so easy for me to be like, ooh, that one looks nice. Let's get that one. I was able to order within a minute. Now, there was another place. It's more like a local kebab shop type of vibe. I'm a man who can enjoy both. Their menu, it was like a double page. It's the same sort of size. The only difference is there were maybe like 8 categories of food like this. That's 5, and within each category, there were like 15 items. Now, the fact that this was in French didn't help because I can't speak French. But even if this was English, there's just so many options that I don't know where to go. I ended up using ChatGPT to translate it. But even looking at all the options, I'm like, fuck, dude. It took me like 8 minutes to choose. In fact, I was genuinely considering just leaving this place and ordering online somewhere else. So this is what we call decision fatigue, otherwise known as analysis paralysis. So in a weird way, the more options you give someone, the less likely they are to take an option because it's just taking too much mental energy. So the less options we give someone, the more likely they are to take the option that we want. So with a call to action, just pick one place that you want them to go to. And what's the easiest place to send them to? The place that they came from. So back when we chose the social that we're going to use as our main driver to our portfolio, we're just going to send them back and tell them to message us there. Because what this means is by the nature of them coming from that platform, they will have an account on that platform. Now, the only exception to this is you can have an email here. For example, let's say you've got a DM me on X, and this goes to your X because you brought people in from X. You can also just have your email here. So I'm just going to put email here. You can put it here, but I wouldn't directly tell people to email you here. This is more just a, hey, if you don't have X, for like the few people that you might close over email or over LinkedIn or whatever. So you have one main platform that goes to a social and the email in a smaller text. So we have a visual hierarchy of what we want people to do. So we have this bigger and the email smaller. This is what the call to action section is. The call to action section is super simple. You'll see it in mine. It's super simple. You'll see it in Carter's. It's super simple. You see it in Omar's, super simple, and etc. Like, you just want a simple call to action. Don't tell people to do 100 different things because otherwise they'll decide to do nothing. So once you've gotten your social platform that you've optimized using the grunt test, that's pointing towards a portfolio with the above the fold section completed, the main body with your 4 to 8 videos, and you've got a clear call to action pointing to one stage, you now have the exact structure that we teach for all our editors to be able to charge more than $1,000 to $2,000 per video. Now, the best part about this is now we've fixed our portfolio. Yes, you'll get more inbounds and people will come in more sold and more warmer, but your outreach will actually convert better too. So as you're sending more outreach, your portfolio will actually do the selling for you. And if you want the 54 proven outreach messages that I use, then go click on this video and it'll show you the exact outreach strategy that I've used to actually get people coming to this portfolio in the first place. So we'll click on that here.